using your knowledge on the radius chart, you can quickly confirm that this is a 4-foot radius. If the 4-foot radius coping stones are available, then use these and set them on the wall. Ensure that the bullnoses line up and adjust as necessary. With your notching tool in hand, check to make sure you've accommodated for the thickness of your waterline tile. Again, make minor adjustments for any imperfections. Double check to make sure your joints are 1/2 inch and parallel. So what would happen if 4s aren't available, but you had another radius? Obviously this wouldn't work as currently laid. Trying to get this coping stone to conform to the radius arc would create a large V gap in the joint, which is unacceptable. For this demonstration, we will make the 6-foot radius stone work in a 4-foot radius arc by performing a crossover cut. Simply cross the right stone on top of the left stone, keeping the bullnoses in line. Use your notching tool to make sure your stone is on the appropriate place on the wall. Adjust as necessary and make sure the back point of the coping stone lines up with the back of the stone underneath. Next, you are going to begin marking for your cut. By looking at the back of the stone, you will see a small portion of the stone underneath. Put a mark on the top and bottom of the stone where the two stones intersect. The distance on the top should appear to be the same on the bottom. On the front of the stones, the bullnoses should still be lined up, so make a mark on the top and bottom stone where they intersect. Since your joints should always be 1/2 inch, take your tape measure and mark a 1/4 inch over on the right side of the previous marking. Do this for the back and front of the top stone. For the stone on the bottom, mark a 1/4 inch on the left side of your previous marking for the back and front of the stone. Take your straight edge and connect your final points for both stones. Place an X on the area to be cut. Ideally, you will want to use a wet saw when making cuts to the coping stone. Be sure to wear eye protection whenever making the cuts. Also ensure the blade is lined up on the correct side of your line before making the cut. A few passes will be needed to slice through the stone. After the cut is made, sand the edges to create a smooth finish. If a wet saw is not available, you can even cut the stone with a 4.5 inch angle grinder. You will need to go much slower to make a clean cut. Since the blade depth will not cut all the way through your stone, you will have to flip the stone over and make your cut line on the back. Continue cutting until you're almost through the stone, and then use a hammer to separate the pieces. An unfinished area will appear, so use your grinder to smooth this section out. You have now successfully cut two 6-foot radius stones to fit a 4-foot radius arc, so put both of them back on your wall, making sure the front bullnoses line up. Check for your 1/2 inch and parallel grout joint. An optical illusion may appear where you think the joint on the back is wider than the front. This is due to the elevation difference, so don't worry. Always have your Federal Stone catalog on hand when determining radius selections.